We're live, everybody. It is another edition of Sportskeeda Wrestling's top story of the day. We got a lot of news to cover here coming out of NXT 2.0. Bron Breakker, a.k.a. Rick Steiner, has won the eye of many of people in the WWE on his big debut. What is the backstage scuttlebuttle on this guy? Is he the future of WWE? We'll talk about it. We also have backstage news on Big E's big Monday Night Raw WWE Championship victory, the feel-good story of the week, plus a lot more. Your comments on screen. Share the link or you stink, baby! Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out! Ow, watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out, everybody. What's up? What's up? What's going on, everybody? Nebraska, if he asks you. Jeremy Bennett, how are you? I'm Kevin.
What is up?
How are you? I'm
good. We are almost to the weekend, man.
I'm jacked up. It is a Thursday edition of the show. If you're with us for the first time, don't forget to share the link. Get your comments on screen. Yes, we do have news coming up here about a backstage news on Bron Breakker, the new sweetheart beefcake that has won the eye of many people in the WWE and WWE NXT 2.0. We also have backstage news on Big E that we'll get into here in a minute. And I do want to remind you, coming up tonight, we have a new edition of Inside Cradle that'll premiere just about an hour and a half or so after we're done here, about an hour after we're done. And that is Gail Kim on it. We had a very, very revealing interview with Gail Kim, producer of Impact Wrestling, one of the greatest wrestlers of her generation, talking about the upcoming Knockouts Knockdown coming to Impact Plus in October. A lot to reveal in that. And we also dig deep into the idea of WWE's response to the recent surge in popularity to AEW. So that edition is coming up later tonight. Get on screen. Let us know what you think. If you haven't done already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. A lot of great stuff with Vince Russo, Dutch Mantel for you guys to consume, exclusive interviews, all that and much, much more over on our YouTube, our Facebook Watch, and our podcast. So check it all out. Let's get into this big breaking story here. What is the latest on Bron Breakker, and how has he won the eye of many people backstage at WWE?
According to Wrestling Observer, originally, literally a day before NXT 2.0 came live, he had changed his name to Rex Steiner. A lot of people thought that was what he was going to go with because literally just changed his Twitter handle to that a day prior to NXT 2.0. And then, of course, with NXT 2.0 kicking off, the very first thing we see is LA Knight and the debut of Rex Steiner, but now known as Bron Breakker, who then challenged LA Knight to a match and beat him in 4 minutes flat, and then stared down Tommaso Ciampa, your new NXT champion, to close the show. But according to the Wrestling Observer, they're not allowed to mention that he is the son of Rick Steiner or related to Scott Steiner in very interesting fashion. Even though Vic Joseph did throw in a dog-faced Gribben line. Of course, that was the nickname of Rick Steiner when he was in the NWA, WCW. Tremendous tag team back in the day, especially when nobody would do a Frankensteiner and Scott Steiner would do that before he was all...
They were cruiserweights. You're talking about like guys that are like 250, 270 doing the Hurricane Rana off the top rope.
He was he wasn't as like insanely ripped as he was in the Attitude Era days when they were fighting WWF, but he was still a big guy doing things that nobody ever saw Frankensteiner like that before. It was really cool. So apparently an edict has come down from the top that they cannot mention that he is related to the Steiners, nor mention he's a second generation wrestler, even though Brooks Jensen, who tagged with Josh Briggs when they took on Imperium, which was the second match of the evening.
Same episode of television.
Yep. They did mention he was a second generation wrestler, who he is the son of Bull Buchanan.
I think that has to do more with Scott Steiner's issues with WWE. And that has to do more with licensing and different things like that. And
I don't think
are we going to be able to get the rights to a name? You know,
I don't. Yeah. Well, okay. The name, yes, but completely ignoring history, I think it's stupid.
There's a way to get to it. They don't. My thing is also, this is his big debut. Do you have to talk about him being a Steiner? Because then that becomes more the talking point than what the guy actually does in the ring.
Yeah.
And
you're smart enough, you're going to know it anyway. So
why
ignore it?
But it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter for his debut. It matters more down the line when you want to tell a story or do something like that, right? And they can always tap into it. There's nothing stopping them from bringing this up in the future. Everyone gets offended by this stuff. Like it's somehow a slap in the face that they didn't say he was Rex Steiner. You've never seen him wrestle before. So let the guy wrestle. Let him wrestle and be a wrestler first before you say, does he wrestle like his dad? Does he wrestle like his uncle? Like, let him be a wrestler first. And I think that's the purpose of this.
So
that isn't me apologizing for WWE, because I think they should just call him Rex Steiner. It's silly, right? I get the logic of it.
This is a dumb name, but we're so used to dumb names anyways with WWE.
There's been dumber
so
names
much.
than Bron Breakker.
But yeah, I mean, it wasn't too long ago he was getting choked out by Samoa Joe.
Sure.
So he was one of those security guards, and he got choked out. Literally, right in his face.
Yeah, but I mean, pile them up. There's a bunch of different people that are now world champions that played those extra roles that got choked out.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to go back.
It's a reach. That's a reach, Jeremy. This guy was built up in a night. They made him look like a real big deal. Also, that finisher, that press slam into a power slam. Woo! That if everyone's mad about big beefy boys doing meat slapping moves, right? This is the height of that style and that presentation.
Yeah, I mean, it's clear that they're going to put the rocket up his ass.
He also cut a decent promo on WWE's digitals. They put out him just cutting this. It wasn't barn burning, but it was like, oh, okay, this guy's got something.
No, yeah, he's definitely delivered. Let's just say in his short time.
I'm not saying I love the new NXT 2.0. I haven't gotten your take on it. I'm amused by it. I like
the atmosphere. And we were talking about with Jose last night. I think it might have been before you hopped on.
And Jose was there, by the way. Jose went to it.
I did not know this, but the setup at I can't call it. It's not the CWC anymore. They just call it the home of NXT. But let's just call it the CWC for reference purposes. The way it's set up now, the way it's set up now has less people, which is weird because
it looks bigger.
Yeah, on TV it looks bigger. I like the white wall type of deal. We mentioned it on my podcast when we recorded last night. Just dropped today. Cheap plug. My podcast co-host Matt said he thinks it looks like a bingo hall. He thinks it looks indie. I didn't feel that way. I didn't agree with it. I thought
the opposite. I thought the CWC, though it looked cool, looked more underground, more closer to like a.
My gripe was turn off that damn entrance. You don't need that bright ass entrance during a match. That kind of distracts.
And also, it's worth noting that entrance is very bright and it's right next to the ring.
Yeah,
and it's a lot closer to the ring than you would if you saw on Raw or SmackDown. With these massive arenas. This is a controlled set. I'll say this: I think it's fun. I think people will grow to like it.
Yeah.
I think there's more things you can do with it visually. When they did those wide shots where they shot into the ring, with the cameras back to the entranceway, they illuminated the whole ceiling.
Yeah.
And I liked that because it allows the show to be different.
Yeah.
Everyone talks about how WWE needs to do different things. Right?
Yeah, they did a lot of
doing something different, and then everyone gets upset about it.
Yeah, they did a lot of different. Well, they were upset because Kevin Dunn was there, and we all hate Kevin Dunn. But
sure, we all hate Kevin Dunn because the internet tells us to do it. What's the coolest thing in wrestling, Jeremy? It's cooler than AEW.
It's just we're tired.
WWE.
We're tired of camera cuts every 2 seconds.
Just doing this and just saying WWE sucks. Like just that's what it is.
No, they did some different presentation elements in match, which were cool. It's just that it was a little distracting to have that thing on during a match. Turn that thing off. Make it just make it dark. You don't have to have the glow sticks on all the time.
Yeah, you don't have to have the glow sticks on all the
time. But
right.
Overall, let's go. I'll go just one more thing about the show overall. My only gripe was I think they force-fed too many debuts. I think they should have done more things like with Tony D'Angelo. I loved that vignette, him walking the streets of Chicago.
Can't you see I'm walking? Come here, I'm going to give you a pile driver.
Hey, forget about it. I already like the character. I already like him. I like him already. I like the vignette. I'm excited for his debut. But they force-fed a few things.
Too many guys on one show.
And Von Wagner was not the right call. To put a new guy into that fatal four-way was terrible. He got zero reaction, and nobody knew who he was, so nobody cared that he was in the fatal four-way. And a lot of people were excited to see Kyle O'Reilly in that spot too. So those were kind of the major gripes of it. But overall,
with the strap makes complete sense.
Oh, I'm happy, man.
On him.
Goldie's back. Goldie's back
Goldie's
home.
back. It makes complete sense.
Somebody, I don't know if it was a sign in the crowd or a tweet that I saw, but it was like 890 days. I could not believe that was how long it was since he had to relinquish that title, and he's finally got it back.
A title he never lost.
Yep. And so, I said it on Twitter before the match. I go, I'm an LA Knight guy. Yeah, I'm an LA Knight guy, but I wanted Goldie to come home, and I got my wish.
We have some kind of late developing news here today, and
Uh-oh.
sometimes you can't just say that a tweet is news. But as you and I know, covering the world of wrestling, whenever Bray Wyatt says something, everyone apparently has to stop, listen, and analyze and take every syllable and break it down into something. We will talk about big news about Big E's title win this past Monday. We learned some things from our friends over at Fightful about that. But Bray Wyatt has tweeted some stuff out here today.
Not only Bray, but his brother's teasing things too. Yes,
his brother is teasing things as well. And Bray Wyatt is saying that something is going to happen soon. This is interesting here, that something is going to happen soon, and you will finally see the true version of me. You will finally see what I'm really about. And this is in response to a fan, asking about different things with wrestling. Certainly interesting, certainly intriguing. Where does that end up? A lot of people assume that means Bray Wyatt, WWE. No, I don't know about that. AEW, I don't know about that either. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. What do you think happens?
I don't know. He's close with Braun. I wouldn't, it would be interesting to see if they both appear on Impact together. I know Bo had tweeted some teases too. So maybe Bray and Bo I get my wish, and they show up together either on Impact or AEW. Of course, Uncle Dave had mentioned the third big signing in this trinity was going to be Bray Wyatt. So I guess if Dave is going to be if Dave is accurate, that's going to be the leader in the clubhouse is AEW. I know you always say don't always default to AEW, but I mean that seems like that's the direction things are going.
No, I know. I don't want to make it seem too obvious, but because other things have happened. We've had some crazier swerves here. When EC3 left, everyone just assumed he's gonna go to AEW. Did not happen. Matt Cardona did not stay in AEW. So I don't want to assume things. You make an ass out of you and me, right?
Yeah, I don't know what is weird about Cardona. Some people said he wanted too much money, but I don't think money is an issue with Tony Khan right now. So I don't know. Maybe he just wanted to kind of spread his wings. And look what he's doing at GCW. I mean, he is almost single-handedly, got a lot more eyes on GCW, and people are now taking notice.
Hell of a podcaster too, by the way.
Yeah. Always love the Fig Hunts with Brian Myers and Smart Mark Sterling every once in a while when he's on the road with them. Always a lot of fun to watch those.
We could talk for days and days about what Bray Wyatt's going to do, but it's only time will tell.
Yeah.
Certainly, it'll be interesting to see what happens. CRC, who's always with us, thank you so much, Chris. He goes, wants to see a Bray Wyatt horror movie. I agree. I would love to see him jump into the world of horror. I think he'd be perfect for it. If they did like a big budget movie version of what he's done in wrestling, yes, give it to me. I'd love it.
Yeah, definitely.
Steven Chambers wants the Rotunda brothers to get together. Bo Dallas, one of the first NXT champions. He had a tenure in WWE. He's out of the company now. He was been off television for quite some time here. But tell me about what is going on with Bo Dallas. He's kind of emerged from being quiet.
Taylor Rotunda, he's teasing that October 1st, go to his YouTube channel. He says something is cooking. Now, he is wearing an apron and he's in the kitchen. So is he starting a new cooking vlog, or is he teasing something more? We don't know, but the date is October 1st to go to his YouTube channel and see what he's going to unveil to us in 2 weeks. So who knows? Maybe it's wrestling related. A lot of people said he was content with being out of wrestling, and he's gone into the real estate business. So who knows? It could just be this a hobby on his channel, or he's coming back to wrestling.
Returns. And here is one that can be quite shocking. Soraya Knight tweeting this out. Known in WWE's Paige. She has been forced into retirement due to a neck injury. Since then, she was featured in some big projects for WWE. She was the general manager on SmackDown. She managed the Kabuki Warriors. Oh, by the way, she got to do a big budget movie on her career.
Right?
Called Fighting With My Family, produced by The Rock, which was a great movie. If you haven't seen it, go seek it out. Very, very good movie. One of the best movies about wrestling, too, by the way. She simply just tweeted January.
Yeah, and her deal ain't done until June. So Royal Rumble, anybody?
Could be interesting.
That'd be oh man, if that music hits, man, that roof's gonna. Where's the Royal Rumble at this year? Have they even announced it?
I don't know if they've announced the exact. I don't know that specifically in front of me, but that would line up that way. It's worth noting though that during WWE's COVID times, they rearranged a bunch of different contracts. So there's some people that were signed into 2022, 2023, who had their deals kind of rounded down to this time.
Oh, there is that day one pay-per-view. Or not paper. Is it a pay-per-view?
It is a New Year's Eve.
Oh, this says January 1st.
January 1st, day one. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe.
Week. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. It'd be a way to bring it back, wouldn't it?
No Rumble announcement yet. So
no Rumble announcement. Certainly interesting though. She came back, it'd be a big deal.
Oh yeah,
especially with the UK audience, it'd be a massive get.
Just like when Edge returned, Daniel Bryan returned, Christian returned. When we thought their careers were seemingly done, it'll be a big deal, and it'll be a refreshing change to see her.
And just hope she's healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, this is somebody who had that neck surgery, came back from it, and then re-injured it right away.
Yeah,
and was only back for a very small amount of time before having to be put back on the shelf. Yeah. And it's kind of heartbreaking, she's been through a lot in life, and at such a young age too, forced into retirement. You're not even near 30, so like, that's shocking.
Yeah. So, she as women's wrestlers go, she's definitely one of my favorites of all time. And so I would definitely love to see her get back into the ring. I mean, she is 29, just turned 29. By the way,
crazy, absolutely crazy here.
Our birthdays are 9 days apart.
A lot of people would love to see Paige come back to the ring for sure.
Yeah,
they would absolutely love that. We have more than a few comments here positive about that. Let's get into the news about Big E. Now, we saw him have this big title win on Monday Night Raw. Certainly made waves, trended worldwide, and of course saw WWE hold their audience well into the third hour. And the most watched hour of the show was the time frame in which he won the title. So good on him. Now, of course, this was certainly a move by WWE to pivot with Monday Night Football. And this is the first week with Monday Night Football. They want to make sure fans know that something big is going to happen on the show. We have the draft in a few weeks as well. So WWE trying things, and a lot of people see this as a response to AEW as well. But bring me back behind the curtain. What are we hearing here about the backstage response to this big change? Big E, now the new WWE champion.
Yeah, from Fightful Select, just dropped late this afternoon. WWE sources that they have spoken to in the days following Big E's huge title win stated that almost everyone is of the belief that Big E would have won the title, but it has been talked about. But it had been talked about being a reality very early after the Money in the Bank victory. Andrew Zarian and Matt Mann Radio had mentioned originally a draft date was planned, and it might have been a cash-in date too. Fightful has confirmed that the plans picked up for Big E to win it after the weekend after Madison Square Garden show with SmackDown. The Orton versus Lashley match, of course, got moved up from Extreme Rules to Monday night. WWE firmed up plans to have Big E go to Raw on Saturday, but creative was kept close to the vest until Monday, of course, when Big E dropped the tweet. At that point, Monday was when Big E was informed he'll be cashing in and winning the title. So he literally called his shot when he knew creatively what was going to happen. And this isn't really out of the ordinary. The same type of plan happened with Nikki ASH as well. Much of the roster stuck around to watch the match and the title change unfold, which is uncharacteristic as many talents leave before the show goes off of the air. They were told that there was seemingly universal elation for Big E, and as he's one of the most beloved members of the roster. So it's definitely telling that most of that roster stuck around to watch that moment and be there for him when he came back through the curtain.
Best move WWE's made in a long time. I'm not saying they've made bad moves recently, but this is definitely one of the best things when we look back at 2021, we get to the end of the year. I think a lot of people are going to look and say that was awesome. It was really fun.
I think just with as big of an impact that New Day has had in the business, it means I think it's just a necessary thing to have these singles achievements for this group as well. And now we'll turn to King of the Ring, where hopefully Xavier Woods wins that tournament. If not, I mean, this dude, ever since he came back from injury, Xavier Woods has been just lighting it up in the ring. He's been facing guys like Randy Orton and AJ Styles and just having tremendous matches. So if he doesn't win King of the Ring, at least put that U.S. title on him this year or next year, man, because he definitely deserves some singles adulation as well.
I wonder how long the New Day is sort of together with the draft and stuff like that too.
God, they're just back together now. There would be such a backlash if they get broken up.
I also understand the point though that you can't have them all on one show. Like those are special guys, and if you could, because you could. Right, and they're still a group, right?
You can easily still form as a group with a singles guy running it. Look at the Hurt Business, you know, it works, and the Hurt Business might be coming back. And Big E even said it on the bump. He wants the Hurt Business back so they can feud with the New Day.
That'd be awesome.
And MVP, I think, either posted a reaction or separately just posted on Instagram. And so I think the Hurt Business is coming back, and that was truly one of the greater things that the WWE did in the pandemic era, in the Thunderdome era, or the PC era, if you will.
That'd be a hell of a Survivor Series match. I'll say that much.
Oh yeah, man! You get the New Day, and they get some backup. You get the Hurt Business, and they get a little backup and make a 5-on-5. That'd be a tremendous match.
We got big breaking news. We have breaking news coming up right now. Do want to talk about this here in a minute.
What do we got? What breaking news?
This involves Saudi Arabia.
Oh,
WWE has announced Brock versus Roman in Saudi Arabia, October 21st. This will be Crown Jewel, most likely. And we just got that news from Rick Steiner, who jumped in the chat here. This is certainly interesting that WWE would go this direction, and this is a big event. WWE doing some different things with events, and this will be an event that airs in the middle of the day here. Yeah. What do you think here? We're on air, and we just learned this news.
I hope to God Balor wins the title, and this is not for the title, because you're going to do some damage to that. You bring back the Demon, which I think is another thing they're trying to. WWE's like just unloading the chamber right now. They're bringing the Demon back, who's been gone forever. If they bring him back just to lose, I think that's ridiculous. And so I think it would be great to have the Demon beat Roman Reigns, and then just have Roman and Brock battle, not for the title, because there's so much story already built in with Paul Heyman and everything. They don't need this to be for the title. So I find it very interesting that this is going to be done at Crown Jewel now. So that almost makes me sort of believe that Balor might win at Extreme Rules.
I don't know if with Brock or Reigns you exactly need the title.
No.
At some point you do if you want to keep that going.
Unfortunately, Vince likes to keep those part-time guys in the picture. See Goldberg just jumping straight up into that picture. So I'm hopefully he doesn't just do the same thing and repeat. It'd be nice to see Balor win the title. And I mean, Balor never lost the Universal title either, by the way, and he was the first ever champion.
It's true.
So I think with this news, I think Balor wins at Extreme Rules, and Roman and Brock is not for the title.
Worth noting, this will be on Thursday, October 21st. And this will air at a very unique time here. This is going to air at 1 p.m. Eastern in the middle of the day. These Crown Jewel shows obviously presented during Saudi Arabia time. So interesting that WWE is doing that, doing different things with their presentation. I also think with Peacock and streaming, and you're not tied to traditional pay-per-view times, also showing that you are an international company, you do stuff like this, and now you're doing it with a real attraction in Brock versus Reigns. It's a real attraction that they're doing.
Yeah.
And a match that people are pumped for. Do you think this kind of changes the opinion of these crown jewel shows that people just see as it's got one or two things, but they just tend to be this wonky, odd thing that'll have a handful of interesting things on it and have been stained by either a weird booking or a bad match or something odd.
It'll depend because those shows have been historically bad pay-per-views. If you just look at it as on a pay-per-view spectrum, these shows have not been that great as a whole. There's been some good moments.
You can't say there was one that was top to. I think that Greatest Royal Rumble one was pretty cool. Like they had a really fun Royal Rumble at it and stuff.
It was cool to see like Mansoor win that one Rumble they had. It wasn't the Greatest Royal Rumble. Was that Strowman that won that one?
Strowman won the one, yeah.
Yeah, and then they had another Rumble that Mansoor won that I thought that was a cool moment.
Like a battle royal.
Yeah, but just historically, those shows have been poor. So hopefully...
They have to bend and arch it so much to like, here's people you haven't seen in a while, and here's this, and here's this, and we have to... There's a lot of, I don't want to say pandering, but there's a lot of stretching to bring in a really casual international audience.
And plus, for example, like Randy Orton was like one of the top heels, but he gets cheered there. So it's like those recognizable names have you almost have to book them differently as well. And then if the powers that be over in Saudi want Undertaker, well, they're going to get Undertaker, So that's how much pull they have with these type of shows. But it's also kind of interesting because some of those traditional big names, like Roman Reigns will probably get cheered. It's going to be those big names are probably going to get.
They're seeing a big name, and this is the one time they get to see that name. I don't think that's a problem. That's your talent's over.
It's just the problem has been the show has been lackluster. It's not been a exciting 3 or 4 hour show. The ones that they've put on so far. So hopefully they change that. But obviously everybody's looking forward to this match. Everybody's looking forward to this version of Brock Lesnar getting in the ring. And, so there's going to be a lot of excitement towards it. And it'll probably be one of the better main events of one of these shows that they've put on.
Certainly it'll be interesting here to see what happens. And how things roll out here in the future, to say the least. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys are looking forward to it as well. If you enjoyed this episode, we had a lot of news break. Like while we were doing this show,
should we
three different stories broke while we were on air.
That was crazy. I don't think we've ever come across that much breaking news. Usually this stuff breaks when we're already off the air, like literally 15 minutes later, and then we're off. Do you want to talk about the last story that we had?
Yeah, sure. Let's get it in here.
Should we go in there? All right.
Yep.
Some interesting news from Dave Meltzer at the Wrestling Observer. He had reported that Fox had offered the WWE to help, monetary help, to the WWE to help sign CM Punk prior to his signing with AEW. The WWE had decided to not go with Punk's considered overly expensive asking price, probably because Punk didn't want to go to the WWE anyways. And Fox, being a network and being in the executive world, they probably didn't see the underlying tones of Punk probably doesn't want to be there, but yet they still think, we could sign him. So they offered to pay Punk's salary to get him into the Blue brand and set up a bunch of different options. But of course, we see how that all played out in the end.
He's going to be in AEW. He's only going to wrestle a handful of times a year for them. At least it looks like it's.
It sounds like Punk's going to be a pretty full-time compared to maybe what Brian's going to do, though.
Sure.
And he's been there every week, and he's wrestling next week. We don't
know the match though, right? It's gonna probably it's him and Hobbs, right? Did they confirm that? It's him and Powerhouse Hobbs
at Rampage.
Yeah. So that'll be next week.
The 2 hour, the big 2 hour Rampage in New York is going to be him and Hobbs. I think that's headlined by Cole and the Bucks against.
I'm looking forward to it, but I also worry about that show because they're going to tape it and it's going to air 2 days later, and I wonder how much that's going to get out.
Is Rampage taped next week? I thought it was live. I thought Arthur Ashe was going to be live.
They're taping it at Arthur Ashe.
I thought it was going to be live.
Oh, you're going to book Grand Slam? You guys want to come to 22,000 seats? Let's sell it out. It's going to be a big night Very historic night for AEW next week. And but I mean, Fox, do you blame them? Yeah, let's try and get a big name star. Let's throw.
They don't know. They just don't know. They don't know the underlying story of what happened 7 years ago.
It wouldn't surprise me if Fox put up some money to get Brock in the fold here too.
And plus, Fox had a relationship with Punk, so they thought maybe that would help do it, so to speak.
It's been talked about. Punk said, yeah, there was discussion, but I didn't take it seriously. I don't take an offer from them beyond it's just being offered. I think, but it's also worth noting he was the same way with AEW for a while. Where he was like, I don't think this is a real offer. Let's have a real discussion. So
it took it took the fact that everybody in that company hid what had happened to Brody Lee, and that also turned kind of turned the decision to not only Punk but Bryan Danielson. They saw how well they had respected Brody Lee's family, and that was kind of the tipping point for both of those guys to sign with AEW. Now, Punk and WWE seems like a long shot, but at the same time, that guy still probably in his heart wants to main event a WrestleMania someday. But
I don't know if he'll ever do that, but I definitely think he'll main event a Hall of Fame class for sure.
Yeah, once that's all said and done, he would. Yeah,
I think that's for sure.
Yeah,
even if you don't wrestle for WWE again, they're always down to be like, hey, come back, we'll do some merch, come out. Thank you for your career, thank you for your contributions.
There's always the never say never. So I mean,
happened, and there's a lot
with Brett. It happened with Brett. So
exactly. You know what I mean? It can happen with Bret Hart. It can happen with the Ultimate Warrior. It can happen with a lot of other people.
Oh yeah,
so I wouldn't rule it out. Would not rule it out. Certainly interesting. Very, very compelling time to follow wrestling. Did you enjoy this episode? Have you not hit the like button yet? Have you not subscribed to us yet on Sportskeeda Wrestling's YouTube channel? Go ahead and do that. Also, check out our brand new channel called Wrestle Binge, which is available now on YouTube as well. So we've done a little bit of a soft launch, but we'll work on dropping some more big content on there as well. Thank you guys so much for checking it out. Obviously, you got episode 300 of your show coming out.
Almost, yes. Episode 299 of Lost in the Midcard just dropped literally hours ago. My co-host Matt Black and myself, we discussed the Big E win, of course. We talk about a lot of contract news popped up over the past week on Fightful Select, so we discuss all of that with Kevin Owens, Candice LeRae, Johnny Gargano, Sami Zayn. We talk about all of that, cover all the television, talk about the rest of the headlines of the week. So that's kind of what we got for you on episode 299. For the very first time ever, next Wednesday after Dynamite, we are going to go live. Kind of like in this type of format that we do here on Top Story. Hopefully we can get some people on and kind of chat along with us with our first live show as we celebrate episode 300. So go search for Lost in the Midcard on YouTube and also any of the podcast platforms. Make sure on the podcast, select the new feed because we switched to Anchor. So just search for Lost in the Midcard and hopefully we can see you on Wednesday night.
You should also be checking out the new episode of Inside Cradle out today. It is out now on the podcast feed, Apple, Spotify, all that good stuff. And we'll be dropping in about an hour from now at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. New episode of Inside Cradle, deep dive, an hour and a half plus. Me and Rick Ucchino breaking down WWE's response to AEW, how Big E winning the title changes everything, and an exclusive interview with Gail Kim of Impact Wrestling, talking about Knockouts Knockdown, their new big event coming in just a few weeks to Impact Plus.
Yeah, Jordan Grace just mentioned in an interview today that she would love to get Gail Kim out of retirement for a one more match. Maybe get her, coax her into that little knockout special on Impact Plus. Maybe.
Well, I can tell you that I don't know if we get any information of Gail about that in this interview, but I can tell you Gail does tell us some things about Knockouts Knockdown that are not public just yet. So that was pretty cool. And definitely keep an eye out on that. This is a very, very interesting conversation too about the door that is open between Impact and AEW, about Victory Road this weekend, which is going to see Christian Cage take on Ace Austin for the Impact World title. So
that'll be good.
There's a lot to cover in this conversation. And if you just enjoy, me yapping about wrestling, yapping about the big men slapping meat, you can definitely enjoy me and Rick do that. And Rick and I also get into each other about pizza and chili, which we tend to do.
You guys never argue. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? We get along.
Wait, what are you doing? Hey, man, my name's Tony. My name's Tony. Look out,
Tony D'Angelo.
Hey, Tony.
Tony D'Angelo.
What do you got, Tony? What do you got for me, Tony?
Nishad is enjoying wrestling. We hope you're enjoying wrestling. Thank you guys so much for checking out the show. Always appreciate your support wherever you're watching, wherever you're consuming it. Thank you so much. Remember, when watching wrestling, do the most important thing, which is what, Jeremy?
That is, you got to enjoy that wrestling. Yeah. Let me talk to you.
Talk to them.
Where's my title?
Well, Bron Breakker, Steiner.
Yeah.